Good evening and welcome to Hayesfield Christmas Concert 2020, a fantastic celebration at the end of the year. And boy, is 2020 a year whose end we really want to celebrate. It has been such a privilege and such fun to work with the students in preparing the content for this evening's performances. I'd like to say a particular welcome to our friends at Oldfield Park Junior School who have contributed towards a very special performance of Silent Night. So happy Christmas and enjoy the show.
It was the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky, so up to the housetop their courses they flew, with sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and all his clothes were tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk. And laying his finger on the side of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh to give his team a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of the sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Everywhere you go, take a look at the 5 and 10. It's glistening once again with candy canes and silver lanes aglow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store, but the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. Pair of envelopes and a pistol that chooses the wish of Bunny and Ben. Dolls that'll talk and will go for a walk is the hope of Janice and Jen. And all the days can hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Everywhere you go, there's a tree in the Grand Hotel, one in the park as well, the sturdy kind that doesn't mind the snow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store, but the prettiest sight to see is a holly that will be on your own front door. Sure, it's Christmas once more.
Winter has long been a time of celebration around the world. Centuries before the arrival of the man called Jesus, early Europeans celebrated light and birth in the darkest days of winter. Many people rejoiced during the winter solstice, when the worst of the winter was behind them and they could look forward to longer days and extended hours of sunlight.
In Rome, where winters were not as harsh as those in the far north, Saturnalia, a holiday in honor of Saturn, the god of agriculture, was celebrated. Beginning in the week leading up to the winter solstice and continuing for a full month, Saturnalia was a hedonistic time when food and drink were plentiful and the normal Roman social order was turned upside down. For a month, slaves would become masters, peasants were in command of the city, business and schools were closed so that everyone could join in the fun.
In Scandinavia, the Norse celebrated Yule from December 21st, the winter solstice, through January. In recognition of the return of the sun, fathers and sons would bring home large logs, which they would set on fire. The people would feast until the log burned out, which could take as many as 12 days. The Norse believed that each spark from the fire represented a new pig or calf that would be born during the coming year.
In the early 17th century, a wave of religious reform changed the way Christmas was celebrated in Europe. When Oliver Cromwell and his Puritan forces took over England in 1645, they vowed to rid England of decadence and, as part of their effort, cancelled Christmas. By popular demand, Charles II was restored to the throne, and with him came the return of the popular holiday.
It was only in the Victorian period, just under 200 years ago, that the Christmas celebrations we recognise today started. Queen Victoria's husband Albert was from Germany and brought to England with him the tradition of decorating a tree inside the house. However, the Victorians used candles rather than electric lights, which made their trees much more flammable. The dinner might involve a goose or some beef, but the use of turkeys is a 20th century tradition coming over from the USA. Christmas cards and Father Christmas bringing presents also became popular.
However, the round and jolly image of Father Christmas we see today was also influenced in the 20th century by an advertising campaign for Coca-Cola in 1931. Since then, most images have shown him looking similar. Keep an eye open this Christmas and see if you can spot him in your house. Not everyone in the past was lucky enough to know about him. Merry Christmas!
My Christmas wish to you, my friend, is not a simple one, for I wish you hope and joy and peace, days filled with warmth and sun. I wish you love and friendship too, throughout the coming year, lots of laughter and happiness to fill your world with cheer. May you count your blessings one by one, and when totaled by the lot, may you find all you've been given to be more than what you sought. May your journeys be short, your burdens light, may your spirit never grow old. May all your clouds with silver linings and your rainbows pots of gold. I wish this all and so much more. May all your dreams come true. May you have a Merry Christmas, friend, and a Happy New Year too.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory stream from heavens afar. Heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born.
On December 24th, 1818, the curate of a parish in Obendorf, Austria, Joseph Mohr, gave a poem that he had written to a friend of his, Franz Gruber, who was also the choir master and organist in that church. He asked Mr. Gruber if he would write music for his poem, and that he might write it for 2 solo voices and guitar accompaniment, because, the organ being broken, he desperately wanted music to be a part of their Christmas Eve service. Mr. Gruber would go on to write the melody to a song that has become the most beloved of all Christmas carols, Stille Nacht. In English, Silent Night. Schlaf in himmlischer Ruhe. Sleep in heavenly peace.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace.
First day of science, as my teacher gave to me, the clowns and chemistry. On the second day of science, as my teacher gave to me, two Tesla coils and the clowns and chemistry. On the third day of science, as my teacher gave to me, three half dissections, two Tesla coils and the clowns and chemistry. On the fourth day of science, as my teacher gave to me, four burning buns and three hard dissections, two Tesla coils and the clowns and chemistry. On the fifth day of science, as my teacher gave to me, holy target grains, four pumpkin buns, three hard dissections, two Tesla coils and the clowns and chemistry. On the sixth day of science, as my teacher gave to me, six bulbs not lighting, holy target grains, four burning buns and three hard dissections, two Tesla coils and the clowns and chemistry. On the seventh day of science, as my teacher gave to me, 7 years of science, six bulbs not lighting, five tardigrades, four burning buns and three hard dissections, two Tesla coils and a clamps and chemistry. On the eighth day of science, as my teacher gave to me, 8 cuddly micro, 7 years of science, six bulbs not lighting, five tardigrades, four burning buns and three hard dissections, two Tesla coils and a clamps and chemistry. On the ninth day of science, as my teacher gave to me, 9 lady scientists, 8 cuddly microbes, 7 years of science, 6 bulbs not lighting, 5 tardigrades, 4 burning bugs and 3 hard dissections, 2 Tesla coils and a clamps and chemistry. On the 10th day of science, as my teacher gave to me, 10 locusts leaping, 9 lady scientists, 8 cuddly microbes, 7 years of science, 6 bulbs not lighting, 5 tardigrades, 4 burning bugs and 3 hard dissections, 2 Tesla coils and a clamps and chemistry. On the 11th day of science, as my teacher gave to me, 11 piglets connected, 10 locusts leaping, 9 lady scientists, 8 cuddly microbes, 7 years of science, 6 bulbs not lighting, 5 tardigrades, 4 burning bugs and 3 hard dissections, 2 Tesla coils and a clamps and chemistry. On the 12th day of science, as my teacher gave to me, 12 technicians, 10 locusts leaping, 9 lady scientists, 8 cuddly microbes, 7 years of science, 6 bulbs not lighting, 5 tardigrades, 4 burning bugs and 3 hard dissections, 2 Tesla coils and a clamps and chemistry.
Miracle by Carol Ann Duffy. Yes, it would be a miracle indeed if everyone who needs somewhere to sleep could find a bed. The tired, the lost, the homeless, dispossessed, somewhere to rest. Oh, Bethlehem, at least we would agree that it would be a miracle indeed. A miracle. Yes, it would be a miracle for sure if everyone who fears the men with guns knew no more war. The shot, the bombed, the injured innocents were whole once more. Oh, Bethlehem, our hearts would not ignore that it would be a miracle for sure. A miracle.
Once in royal David's city stood a lowly cattle shed, where a mother laid her baby in a manger for his bed. Mary was that mother mild, Jesus Christ, our little child. He came down to earth from heaven, who is God and Lord of all, and his shelter was a stable, and his cradle was a stall. With a poor and meek and lowly, lived on earth the Saviour holy. Not in that lowly stable, weeping oxen standing by, we shall see him, but in heaven, set at God's right hand on high, where his dogs and his children crowned, all in righteousness around.
Hello. We think that maths is an essential part of Christmas, but there are so many things we need to work out. How?
How can I perfectly wrap up a square present? First, measure the diagonal of your gift. Add this measurement to 1.5 times the present's height. The result is the measurement in centimetres you're going to use for the 4 sides of a square on your wrapping paper. So if the result of your sum is 28, you're going to need to measure out a 28 by 28 centimetre square on your gift wrap. Cut the square, then place your gift diagonally in the centre of the paper. When viewed from above, your gift will look like a diamond inside a square. Bring in the 4 corners and then fold in the tabs that are created. If you are using a simple pattern paper, such as a stripe, these should also match up at the joins. Pop on a bow and a gift tag, and there's one perfectly wrapped present. It will also work for rectangular gifts, but it won't match up the pattern.
How can you ensure the perfect distribution of baubles on your Christmas tree? For the amount of tinsel required to go around your tree, you need to multiply pi by 13, then divided by 8. Multiply the result of the height of your tree. Your answer is the optimum tinsel length in centimetres that will look smashing draped around the branches. It's a little easier to work out how many lights are required. Multiply the height of your tree in centimetres by pi to reveal the best length, which will also be in centimetres. You won't need pi for your baubles, thank goodness. Instead, I suggest that you take the first square root of 17, which is around 4.1, and then divide it by 20. Multiply the result of the height of your tree in centimetres. This gives the number of baubles which are just right for arranging in regularly spaced gaps around pine needles, whether they're fake or not. Last but not least, the star at the top. But what size star to use? Divide the height of your tree by 10, and that should be the height of your star, and your Christmas tree looks great.
So, how does Father Christmas manage to deliver all of his presents in one day? Father Christmas has just 24 hours to complete his deliveries. They're spread over an area of 200 million square miles and 75 million homes. With an average distance between each home of 1.63 miles, that means the man in the red suit has a beard-quaking 122 million miles to cover in 24 hours. But we're forgetting that this is all possible through Christmas magic. To complete his shift and be back with Mrs. Claus in time to open his own stocking, Santa's sleigh would need to travel at around 5,083,000 miles per hour. It's fast, but not the fastest thing around. Light travels at 669,600,000 miles per hour, 130 times faster than Santa would need to travel at to get all of these presents delivered. Now, this is the science bit. Light already exists and moves at the proven speed. Therefore, it must be possible for something to move slower than the speed of light. And because Santa exists and has magical powers, it's perfectly plausible that he can do just that. So don't worry if you can't spot that sleigh in the sky on Christmas Eve. It will be going so fast you won't be able to see it. But it is there, promise.
Thank you so much for listening.
Have a very Merry Christmas
And a Happy New Year.
Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. If you haven't got a penny, then a halfpenny will do. If you haven't got a halfpenny, then God bless you.
Christmas is forever, not just one day. Like bells, lights and tinsel put up on a shelf. The good you do for others is the good you do for yourself.
Christmas. C is for the child born that night to be our light. H is for holy is his name. R is for rejoice with gladness and joy. I is for Emmanuel, God with us. S is for the star that led the wise men to him. T is for truth and grace that was brought to us. M is for Mother Mary that lay him in swaddling clothes in his manger. A is for angels singing songs of joy. S is for salvation.
In Deutschland feiern wir Weihnachten abends an dem 24. Wir essen ganz und öffnen Geschenke. Deutschland ist berühmt für seine schönen Märkte, wo man Leberkekse und Glühwein kauft.
Jemy 12-daniowy posiłek.
W Polsce my otworzymy prezenty na 24. 日本ではクリスマスよりお正月の方が特別です。真夜中に神社へ行きます。家で家族と一緒に美味しいご飯を食べます。
En France, ils mettent des chaussures devant les cheminées pour les cadeaux. Vous mangez normalement de la dinde et dans certaines régions de France, vous avez 13 desserts. Une autre tradition veut que chaque lettre envoyée au Père Noël obtienne une réponse de sa part.
En España, el día más importante es el 6 de enero, el día de los tres Reyes Magos. La mañana del 6 de enero, todos los niños se levantan temprano de sus camas para descubrir los regalos que les han dejado sus majestades los Reyes Magos del Oriente.
Comet, Cupid, and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you'd even say it glows. All of the other reindeers used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him, as he shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history.
Merry Christmas!
Thank you, girls. We certainly do need a little Christmas this year. Wow, what an amazing way to end 2020. Thank you so much to everybody who has taken part. What an amazing selection of different items that we've had this evening. Record-breaking history for the staff taking part. We don't normally impinge on these things, but we thought it's been an extraordinary year, so we'd get involved too. And talking about being an extraordinary year, as Mr. Page says, I'm sure some of you are eager to wave goodbye to 2020. But before you do that, please do take a little bit of time to think about all that you have achieved. I always think that it's in times of difficulties that we see the best of ourselves, and we have certainly seen the best of everybody in our community. I would like to take a moment just to say thank you to all the staff for everything that they have done during this global pandemic, and also to our students. You have been absolutely awesome. You have stood up to all of the challenges that have been presented to you, and you have succeeded. We have been very, very, very impressed with everything that you have managed to do. And parents, I'd also like to say thank you for your unwavering support of our school in these times. It has really, really been appreciated. Every time one of you has taken the time to write to me, I've shown that with staff, and it's made our days. So thank you very, very much. So, without further ado, I'm going to wrap things up. I did see Mr. Page's rather cute little elf that we started with at the front of this little piece. So I thought I'll put my little hat on as I say, Merry Christmas, and I wish you the happiest of Christmases and a very good New Year. Thank you.